So you'll often hear people talk about applications in terms of a tiered architecture or a n-tier architecture or layers. We try to build our applications in tiers more now in enterprise languages, and there's great reasons to do so. A few of these are separation of concerns. This just means that each layer is only concerned with the task that it is assigned to do. So our presentation layer is only going to have presentation type things in it, and our business logic is going to be contained in a layer, and data access is going to also be contained in its own separate layer. Now, there's another term called reusable layers that sounds very similar to separation of concerns, and in some ways it is, but its focus is different. If I have business logic in my presentation tier, I can't easily change my presentation tier or expose a web service, for example, without recreating some of that logic. If I have extracted it into its appropriate tier, then I'm not duplicating that logic. So if you ever notice yourself copying and pasting code in your application, it's probably not in the correct tier, or it's not architected in the correct tier. Now that's a little bit of difference between the separation of concerns and the reusable layer. Separation of concerns, it's not about reuse, it's just about having things in the right layer so that I can re-architect them later, where reusable layers means that I have a purpose and a point that I'm trying to drive of I can expose the same data in multiple ways without having to worry about it, or I can replace my presentation tier without having to re-architect my application. And then another term is maintenance, or refactoring might be a better way to put it. And that's the ability to change things without having those changes ripple through all of our code. So if I have Hibernate in my application and I have to change something in my UI based off of a change I made in Hibernate. Now I'm not talking about a business need, but more of I want to change how a table is structured or things like that. I'm not separating those into the right tiers correctly. If this is done correctly, we can change our code and not have to retest everything, but rather just the pieces that we changed. This leads into a much larger discussion about unit testing, but that is outside the focus of this course.